In this tutorial, we'll create the seat for the Footstool project. Before we start, we need another measurement. So I for inspect, and we just want to go from these outside edges here. We just want to find out what that distance is there. So that's 258 millimeters, and we'll write that down. Press escape. Now for this one, we are actually going to start a brand new sketch. Theoretically, I could again sketch it onto the rail front here, but it's really getting quite busy there now. So let's just start with a new sketch. Before we do, let's hide the bodies and the components. Create sketch, and we're going to go off the front plane. Now the seat, it's curved, but it's basically 540 millimeters by 300 millimeters. So alpha line, starting from the origin, we're just going to draw a line that is horizontal and goes out for 540 millimeters. We're actually going to delete this line later on. Press enter. And then just move it so it's in the middle of the screen. The next thing that we need is an arc, and it's a 3-point arc. We're going to go from one end to the other. We'll come down a little bit. Doesn't really matter how much, but just keep it minimal. D for dimension, and we're going to put a dimension on that. And that dimension is going to be 1716.25. So it matches the curve on the top of the front rail, that's how it's going to be in the real world. Press enter. Now we need to give it some thickness. We're going to use a tool that we haven't used for a while. Now I can already select that line there and just delete it. We're going to select this line here, and we're going to use our offset tool. The keyboard shortcut is the letter O. So I'll press offset, and we want to go up. Now the thickness of the solid part of the seat is 9 millimeters because it's going to be laminated from 3 sheets of 3 millimeter thick ply. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it look a little bit more realistic. So that's going to include the padding and the upholstery. So instead of going up 9 millimeters, I'm going to go up 25, or in this case, minus 25 millimeters, and press OK. And then I just want to close these ends off. So alpha line, and I can just go from the bottom to the top, bottom to the top. So we've now created an enclosed shape. Now you can see all those lines are blue, so it's not fully defined. It's not super critical in this situation. We can just use the auto constrain function if we want, and it can just put in some measurements for us. It doesn't really matter too much, but I'm just going to leave it like that. We can now finish the sketch. I'll just bring that to the center of the screen. Now we're going to extrude it, and we're just going to go 300 and make it a new component. There we go. Okay. Now the reason why we've made this a new component to start off with is because we need to join it to the back top rail, and we can't actually join bodies to bodies. You can only join components to components. Okay, so there it is there. So let's be good, and we'll rename it seat. Let's now turn everything back on. And so you can see everything's in the wrong place. So now what we need to do is we need to join the seat to the top of the top back rail. So we'll change our view. We'll go around to the back, and we'll go up to assemble, J for join. I'll just zoom in a little bit here so we can just see everything a bit better on the screen. Press escape. And so what I want to find the midpoint of this back edge here. Then I want to come down and find the midpoint of this bottom back edge here. Now don't worry, that's kind of a bit weird because that's moved out to there, but that's okay for now. The other thing too, if you remember right back at the beginning where we made that measurement. Now let's just do a little bit of maths. So the number that we got was 258, and our seat is 300 millimeters wide. So what that means is that this edge here won't sit flush with the back top rail. It'll actually overhang a little bit. And so if we do the maths, 300 minus 258 leaves 42. And then if we then divide that by 2, we get 21. And so what we need is an overhang of 21 millimeters. So I can do it a couple of ways. I can move that sort of back that way and go minus 21 and okay. And you can see, I'm just going to go back to make that fit on the screen. You can see that that appears to be in exactly the right place. Let's actually orbit around and have a look. So we should be able to see an overhang back and front. So that's pretty good. I'll just go back to the home view. So we're now looking back from the front here, and let's just see if our joint worked properly. There we go. Now, if for some reason it didn't, if we go back here into relationships and joints, the second joint that we put in, it should be a rigid joint. If it's not, if something else is going on, you can actually right click on that and edit the joint. Because one thing I didn't show you in all of that, we've obviously joined it right, but it's just to make sure that the motion is set to rigid. So we can cancel that. Okay, so one final thing, and this is really just an aesthetic thing. Obviously, the cushion is going to be rounded, so let's make our seat look a little bit more realistic by rounding the corners on it. So we can go modify, and we'll put a fillet on it. Now, all we'll do for this is we just want to select this top surface here. So we can select the whole surface, and then we can just play around with it. Now, the reality is, in the real world, it's probably going to look something like that, like around about 20 millimeters. That's probably what it's going to look like in the real world. So I can select that, and you can either do it just by pulling that little slider backwards and forwards, or you can enter the number in up here, and we can go OK. So there's our chair. In the next tutorial, we're going to start on the working drawings.